where you put your hands on people and you see pictures. What sort of pictures were you actually seeing in your mind?
Well, considering that I had at this stage no training in medicine or the physical body, I hadn't done any therapeutic training at that time. Only, of course, in what I've learned at school, from anatomy and physiology and things like this, it was very basic, but the visions in my head, it was almost as though I could just see through a physical body and just see the blood flow and bones and things of that nature.
And how did that feel looking at that?
Initially, very weird.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where I felt uncomfortable with it, but at the same time excited. It was, there was something about, if this is real, it's amazing.
So you're seeing it in full colour?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
Yes, and you're seeing the blood circulating and the heart pumping.
Yeah.
And then the liver.
Correct.
Wow, what an exciting moment for you.
It was, and by now the whole aspect of healing, spirituality started to open up for me. And so it was then, and now with two people describing this guide, he actively then started to show himself during my meditation.
Right.
Although, in fact, I think I missed a bit there. What actually then happened, I believe he actually showed himself to Jane first, and she never told me about this, because she wasn't sure who he was. But he presented himself to her first, possibly because she was more skillful at that stage than I was, or open, shall we say. But very soon after that, he started appearing in my meditations. And me being me at that time, the skeptic, it was like, oh, well, it's just because the images has been placed there by other people, so I'm imagining it. But it persisted, and it just got stronger. But then I found that during the healings that I was doing at that time, this point of where the length of time, this time span that I seemed to be missing, it was evident that he was coming forward at that time. So it was, from what I gathered then, it was actually he that was doing the work, if you wish. And so that's how we then started to, I suppose you could say, work together, and I became familiar with him and comfortable with him, very accepting. It was only at a later date where I had an experience, and I suppose being a typical man, I don't do well with emotions, and particularly emotional women. And there was some ladies, because in England at that time, it was more acceptable to ladies than it was men. Men were very much more close-minded at that time. And of course, so when you're doing healing and you've got this lady sobbing away in front of you, I started to find it difficult to know what to say or what to do. And that started to happen more often. But I think the turning point was when we had a husband and wife came, and the lady came in first, and from what she then told me, or told us that was doing the healing, she was obviously having marital problems, which also became somewhat physical. So when he came in for his session, I have to say that I was not very prone to doing the healing. It was more I wanted to punch him on the nose, which I thought was not a good idea. So
not for you'd have to heal it then.
So not very soon after that, again with discussions with Jane, it was put to me in a very spiritual manner about how do I think about going into full trance, which had its bonuses because with being in trance and having no recollection of what happens, it takes me away from the situation, so I don't then get involved in the emotions and whatever. And also, some of the people that I was working with, I was treating. And it can be a little bit embarrassing, again, ladies' problems and things like this, and particularly when you see them every day, it's embarrassing.
Yes. And you needed to be away from there.
So, from that aspect, the thought of going into complete trance was good, but there was that aspect of me that I thought, well, I'm not sure if I'm capable of doing that, but then where do I go? And if these guides come in, can I be assured that they are who they say they are? And am I in control? Am I able to return when I want to? Or the thought of giving control over to something that I can't actually see, only in my head, was very challenging. So that was a time when Jane had to work exceedingly hard with me, and it was over a period probably of months rather than weeks that we worked with it through a meditation situation and bringing Ranjid through, and then we just got more and more comfortable with it. But then I started to find that this period of healing was actually getting even longer, and that was there, I suppose, proving to me that I can do this, because I had no recollection. It was just like going into a meditative state and just seeing or hearing nothing, and so it started to work very well. So eventually, the situation between the husband and the wife that I already mentioned, that was that turning point. That was when I decided that, well, look, if I'm going to do this, then yes, let's do it, because I can't carry on healing, feeling animosity towards a client. So,
could I ask you, what sort of physical ailments was the lady showing in respect of her marital problem? How was that manifesting in her dis-ease, if you like?
Mostly at that particular time, it was not so much physical abuse, it was more mental and emotional abuse. And she was a very sensitive lady, and she had, what I can recall at that time, a very nice energy. And to think that she was being abused and controlled in the manner that she was discussing, it was very hard to think that one human being could treat another human being, particularly their wife, supposedly the one that they love, in that manner.
And how did she physically manifest her problem?
She certainly had, she wasn't sleeping very well, and she had a great deal of problems with her digestive system, and on the physical level not so much, but most certainly around the neck and shoulders. She was exceedingly tense, but I think probably the biggest aspect was that it was affecting her digestive system and putting a lot of pressure on her heart. So it was on that level something that she required a lot of support, a lot of understanding, but a little bit of direction as to how she could actually proceed. And I think from that area, which is an area I'm pleased to say in the manner that I've ultimately working with, is that with Ranjid, he seems to have a great deal of understanding of these matters. Whilst he's not allowed, from what I can gather, to actually tell people what they have to do or should do, it's just the encouragement of where he asks people to review where they are, what they're doing, and helps them to make certain choices, to make life changes.
So in the session, even you would be absent when Ranjid came in to assist this lady. How do you know what happened? Do you talk to her afterwards, or how do you get an insight into how she's healed?
This is quite a strange one, really, because working then, when we had the centre in England, is that when I got to the stage of going into full trance, I would start work about 9 o'clock in the morning and go into trance, and I wouldn't come back as me until somewhere in the region of 1 o'clock, and I would have 3-4 clients during that period of time. So I might see the first one as they arrive, and I might see the last one as they go.
Leave.
But the ones in between, other than names that on the appointment book, some I didn't even get to see personally as me. And so it was only talking to the people that I work with do I discover what's occurred, what's happened, and trying to get, obviously, for my own benefit, if you like, feedback as to, well, what happened. Was it okay? How are they? And particularly when people return for secondary or more treatments, then, how have they been? Are they better? Because obviously that was very important to me, because doing what I was doing, it was, I needed for my own clarification that it was working, but it was nice to know that people out there were benefiting from what we were doing.
Well, I'm thinking at this point, maybe we should do a trance to talk to Ranjid and find out more about what Ranjid does and what he thinks about oneness. Would you be happy to do that?
Yes, why not?
All right. So you have a procedure that you go through to start with. So why don't we start that, and I'll ask some questions and then I'll bring you back.
Okay.